Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, there's only 363 shopping days left until next Bunny Day. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined, as I am always joined, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We've got a good show for you today. We're going to be talking about the news from the week, including some details around Lego Super Mario. And then on Thursday, Retro Month continues with Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. But in the meantime, Mark, how are you?
I'm doing great. I reached the threshold in which I no longer could manage my hair, so my husband helped me Friday night to cut it, and I think it turned out really well. But I've got to say, it was very humbling to be sitting in the bathtub in my underwear, covered in hair, while my husband is laughing so hard he's crying because what a mess it's turned into. But we saw our way through. And I think it turned out very positive.
No, look, your hair looks very good right now. I feel like my hair is looking pretty okay at the moment, considering that. Have we talked since I cut my own hair as well?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think this is new to me.
So Sarah did cut the back of my hair because I can't see the back of my head. And she started to like trim up around the sides and then like got kind of like nervous, or again, we were like laughing too much. It also like I had taken a break from Animal Crossing for her to cut my hair, so the TV was just on and I was inside one of my villagers' house, like one of my neighbor's houses in Animal Crossing, and he is a fitness obsessed squirrel who has like a little boxing bell in his house. So every now and then, as I'm sitting there and Sarah's cutting my hair, he would just ring the bell.
I feel like
it was too cute.
I feel like what we've learned is that like people who cut hair are true professionals because they don't laugh the entire time, looking at how stupid we look while it's in progress.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think that it's also like a confidence thing, right? Because as you are cutting someone's hair and you don't know what you're doing, like all you are filled with is the like inescapable dread that you're going to ruin this person. Speaking of an inescapable dread that you're going to be ruining someone, my copy of Sonic Forces, would you like to borrow it? Maybe someday you can. For the moment, our Sonic Forces borrowing program is on a little bit of a hiatus, but if you would like to get on the list to borrow my copy of Sonic Forces for the Nintendo Switch, all you gotta do is email us at nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com. And give us a mailing address, and then we will send it to you. You can play it for as long as you want, and then send it back to us. Also, would just like to thank everyone who has been friending us on the Nintendo Switch. We love seeing what people are up to. I am getting to the point where I am excited to open my island up for other people to visit. So if you want to be my friend and I will open the island, you can find our friend codes in the description of every episode.
We are halfway through April, Patrick, so that means that we are halfway done with Retro Month. We've been talking about SNES classics all month long. This week, we're talking about Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. So if you have any thoughts, observations, get them into us by Wednesday. And then on April 24th, we are playing with big quotation marks because we will see, big air quotes, because we'll see how this goes. We're playing Star Fox.
Now, Mark may be throwing around air quotes, but I have already promised, bold, underlined, italicized, promised, all caps, that I am going to, maybe strike through as well, that I am going to play and beat Star Fox.
And I'm going to try my darndest. So far, we played through Link to the Past in its entirety, played through Super Metroid in its entirety. We'll see about Yoshi's Island, but
giving it a good college try.
But Star Fox, why not?
I mean, I believe we will build cogent cases as to why not, but we'll see. All right, Mark, let's get into what we've been playing this week. Mark, of course, let me be the first to wish you a belated Happy Bunny Day.
Thank you. Same to you, Patrick. I hope you celebrated in a way, like in accordance to your traditions.
I did, and because most of my holiday traditions involve an abundance of consumerism, that is exactly how I partook in Bunny Day. We're talking, of course, about Animal Crossing. There was an in-game holiday, Bunny Day, which coincided conveniently with Easter this Sunday. It had been something that we were building up to for the last week and a half. Where most of a lot of the resources on the island were replaced with these gaudy little eggs, and you could use those eggs to craft various pieces of furniture and outfits and wallpapers and stuff. Mark, I need you to know, I made every single Bunny Day everything. I made it all.
Yeah, I did too. Part of it was because I felt like I had to, because I felt like I needed Bunny Day to have a purpose. You know what I mean?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I was surprised. Yeah. I was a little bit disappointed that the spring flowers, the peach blossoms, disappeared the day before Bunny Day. I assumed that it was a Bunny Day thing, but then it was no, those are over with. Now it's just eggs. Now it's just you and Zipper and these green trees.
Yeah, it was weird that the game was pulling two special events at once. Because now that Bunny Day is over, I sort of wish there still were cherry blossoms around, to get those petals and craft that stuff. But I was so focused on Bunny Day, and I made all this stuff that I then I made it all and then I sold it all, with the exception of two things. One is I kept the Bunny Day magic wand.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went ahead and crafted myself a second zipper bobblehead, because you have to use one zipper toy to craft the wand. And I was like, no, I also want one, because that's something that I'm going to just display in the trophy case in my house, right? Of here are the special events that I conquered. And Bunny Day is forever going to be memorialized for me with this little wobbly egg-shaped zipper toy.
Oh, that's a smart idea. I didn't do that. I kept the basket for whatever reason, and then I kept the wand. So was this was your first in-game of holiday celebration in Animal Crossing, right? What did you think? Did it live up to your expectations? Did you have expectations going into it? What do you think of Bunny Day?
I actually thought Bunny Day, when the day itself actually happened, was great and fun and just enough of a twist on a normal day in Animal Crossing. It was a little annoying to have so many of, every time you're chopping wood, trying to get wood or trying to get chunks of steel or whatever, or catch fish, that there's always this little hindrance of it's probably going to be a lot of eggs. But when you are achieving a specific checklist, it's so satisfying in a game that is so infinite to have such a finite thing to accomplish. And then I thought having so many of the recipes unlock on that final day, the bobblehead, the bunny, or the basket, and the wand, and the arch too, right?
Mm-hmm.
That it was a nice on the day itself final thing to just pop and be I can make all this stuff. Collecting all those eggs wasn't in vain. So I really liked it. I think Zipper is funny. I think that's a funny character concept. I love watching him put the character down when you're not around. I love him second guessing himself as he's talking to you. I love it. I thought it was super fun.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too. It's basically was very similar to just the events in other Animal Crossing games, where there's one thing that's different about it. There's one maybe celebration that happens or whatever, I did like for Bunny Day how there was like 2 weeks leading up to it where like something you knew something was
Mhm.
coming. I guess like on Bunny Day itself, I was expecting a little bit more in that's why I think I missed like the peach blossoms and everything because
Mm.
I wanted like the entire town to be decorated. It was nice everybody walking around, but just like I just wanted a little bit more because this was like the Switch version of Animal Crossing. For some reason,
Sure.
like I wanted to just be pushed a little further. But I had a ton of fun, and like I think the day before there was like a fishing tournament.
Yeah,
So
there was.
I feel like and like going back to Animal Crossing every day has been very rewarding because of like little events like that.
Yeah, and I gotta say, every time CJ is on my island, I'm so happy to see that little otter. Or beaver. What is he? I don't know. I love him though.
Have you been doing any of the like turnip stock market stuff?
So not a ton. I know that there's a whole community of people who just like go on like Reddit or Twitter and are just like soliciting the highest prices for turnips. And I have not really gotten into that. But if anyone does have some killer turnip prices and they want to tweet at us, I'm at Patrick_Ellers. I would love to get in on that sweet turnip action.
I have to say,
Have
for
you?
me, no, I haven't. Because for
Mm.
me personally, like the way that I enjoy Animal Crossing, like I don't really want to break the game like that. Like I don't really
Yeah.
want to get like all of the houses and be able to pay it off like immediately, or build all the
Mm.
bridges I want to build. Like to me, having those limitations will extend the amount of time that I want to like spend with the game. Versus, I think if I like
Yeah.
blew everything out, then I would be basically done with it. I mean, and for some people maybe that's the reason to do it is that way they can just be like, and I'm done and I don't have to worry about this anymore. This reminds me of like Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. I loved the act of like unlocking all the characters, and once that
Mm.
happened, I pretty much found myself like being done with the game for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely is something very rewarding about like having a reason to keep coming back to it. Um, and like even with the like natural limitations that I come up against with not having like 3 million bells, like I still feel like I'm able to earn some money, and like when I put up a bridge, I usually pay it off that day or the next day. Um, and it's really it's the rare thing. My most recent like house upgrade, I haven't even started to pay off yet, and it's probably been like a week. But there's no penalty for it, so like whatever, I'll get to it when I get to it. Right now I'm enjoying building out the bridges and ramps and stuff on my island.
Yeah, have you unlocked? I don't know when you unlock it. I keep forgetting it exists because I haven't hit it yet. But like the terraforming ability.
No, so I think you unlock that after KK Slider
Oh,
does a concert.
I want KK Slider to come to my town so bad, but I think I still have a lot of work to do before I get there.
Yeah, I think I do too. I have now attracted one camper who is living on my island. Keaton, he's an eagle. We may have even talked about him in a one of our episode where we were like casting them in
Musicals.
musicals. Yeah. And at first I was like, I don't know how I feel about Keaton. So I didn't even talk to him on like the first day he was there, and then he was there the second day and the third day, and I was like, all right, I'll go talk to him. And you're right, the game bullies you into you can't not invite them to stay on the island.
I know that's how I got Huck,
Um,
the stupid dumb
yeah.
frog that I do not like, still hanging around my island. We don't talk to each other.
Mark,
I've
Mark,
never
Mark.
talked to him. Look, I'm sure he's fine. I bet he's a nice person, but I want him off my island.
Here's something I'm worried about. I now have two eagles living on my island. I don't like being like outnumbered like this. Anyway, what else you been playing, Mark?
Yoshi's Island. Oh, sorry. One more thing I want to say about Animal Crossing
Yes.
is I was trying to explain to my husband who KK Slider is and why KK Slider is awesome and why everyone wants like why it's so important to me the KK slider come to my island. I'm gonna say that it
Yes.
didn't all get through to him, but I think if nothing else, he understands like how important it is to me, even if he doesn't understand why.
That's amazing. Luckily, Sarah understands that KK Slider is a treasure. She has seen the amiibo sitting in our amiibo case, which, by the way, I had always like sort of like half liked the Animal Crossing characters from like kind of dabbling in previous games, but I had all these amiibo and like playing New Horizons and like forming a real relationship with the characters. Now I suddenly love all these figures, and I am so happy to have them displayed. Mark, we did as part of a different email that listener Martin sent to us. He wanted to bring up something about Animal Crossing. He said, "You asked about the cutest movements in Animal Crossing, or cutest moments in Animal Crossing. For me, it is when the animal whose house or shop you're in waves goodbye as you leave. I love it." Yeah, just another one of those amazing little details where it's like, yeah, that's there. They see you and they like have a life or something. It's adorable.
Yeah, like I had played other versions of the game. I played New Leaf, I played Wild World, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just like what like the state of the world. I don't know if it's the fidelity of the Switch. Like that's the first thing I'm going to attribute it to. But it's like, yeah, I completely agree with you that like before I liked Animal Crossing and I liked the characters, but this is the first time that like the attention to detail I feel like has really paid off. And just like the fidelity of the characters is greater than it's ever been. And all of like that attention to detail in the animations and the facial expression and the
Yeah.
localization and everything, like it's so much fun.
Yeah. It's well observed, and something I hadn't really thought about is like these are people that I see every day, and outside of Sarah, like that's it. I don't see anyone, you know. So yeah, it's nice to just have some like simulated social interaction with a character that's gonna run up to you and like teach you how to laugh at something, but like whatever, that's great. So what else you been playing this week?
Oh yeah, so Yoshi's Island, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Which we will be talking about more on Thursday. Is it officially in the United States? I should look this up. Was it called Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island in the US? Like, is it an official
It was,
sequel to Super
yeah.
Mario World?
I mean, it is in number, but like I don't think it is in spirit. Like in spirit, it is the beginning of a new series, right? Um, yeah, obviously we will dig more into it on Thursday. Which very quickly though, Mark, where are you playing it? Are you playing it on your Switch?
I am. Yeah, I continue to play it on my Switch. Yeah.
Okay, and I continue to play these games on my Super NES Classic Edition, as all four of these games that we have picked for April are available on both. And then Sarah and I have continued to play some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because what a wonderful comfort food that is. I don't have any new observations about it, but what a great game. Okay, that's what we've been playing this week. Let's get into the new releases and what we might be playing next week.
So another slow week for new releases. Not a ton to talk about, but on Thursday, April 16th, two things we wanted to point out. One is that Pixel, Piczle, Pixel Cross Adventure is released on the Switch eShop.
Which I was like, wait a minute, that looks like the name of a Picross game. And guess what? It's a Picross game. And again, this one has the hook that it is tied to like an RPG style story. It looks cute. It's been on Steam forever. But like, what am I gonna not pick up a new Picross game? What am I never gonna finish Murder by Numbers? That's what I should really do. I need to recommit myself to Murder by Numbers.
Murder by Numbers, the Star Fox of Picross games? Question mark.
Well, no, because I am going to beat Star Fox.
And then also on the 16th, Double Dragon 2: The Revenge is released on the Switch eShop, and this maybe sounds familiar to you, but that's because it was released. A version of Double Dragon 2: The Revenge was released way back in 2018 as part of Arcade Archives. And so from what we can puzzle out based on like the Nintendo.com listing for these games, the Arcade Archives one is of course the arcade version, and then the one that is releasing on Thursday is the NES port.
Which, it should be noted, is the version of the game that is available on the NES Classic Edition.
Oh,
so yeah, go ahead, Mark.
I was just gonna say, so it's possible I already own this. We have played this together, Patrick.
We did. We didn't like it. But it's so when you go to Nintendo's website and you're checking out like the box art, you'll see that it is against a background that shows like all of the NES box arts for all of the Double Dragon games and all of the Kunio-kun games. So I suspect that this is like a little bit of a preview for, or like a thing to build hype for the Double Dragon Kunio-kun collection, which is coming to Switch at some point. I should have looked that up before I started talking. But if they're offering Double Dragon 2 as just like hey, remember you liked these games, or you at least liked this one, and there are like 30 more of them coming out. That's maybe not the dumbest thing in the world.
But otherwise, not much I wanted to shout out this week in new releases. Possible it's going to be slow from here on out, at least for a little while. So,
well, we'll see. All right, Mark. Let's close out the new releases. Now it's time for a regular segment on our show. It's time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or a group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So, for the duration of one performance of 433, Mark and I will talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Now, Mark, I think we do need to be careful here because our topic is we are going to try to name as many hats as we can. Okay? And remember, we can't talk about Nintendo during this.
Yes, so no Nintendo hats. I'm going to be honest, I don't know what you're, like, getting at.
I'm just Mario wears a hat, Link wears a hat.
Okay. I was, like, racking my brain. I'm like, what special type of Nintendo hats? What game is notorious for hats? I guess Odyssey. Super Mario Odyssey. Yeah.
Okay, we've already broken the rules too much. I mean, well, let's go back and forth, okay?
Okay. Let's see how long we can go back and forth before one of us has to rescue the other.
I love it. Top hat.
Baseball cap.
Trucker hat.
A bonnet, right? Or like
Ooh, it counts.
Yeah, we're opening it up to the world of head coverings. Sure.
Right. Okay, a crown.
Okay. How about a beret? A jaunty beret.
Beret is pretty good. What a painter's cap? Painter, is that the one that has like the little snap in the front?
On it? Is that the same or different from a Newsies cap?
Let's count them as separate caps. So I went painter's cap. You went Newsies cap.
That makes sense to me because I think a painter would need the snaps. That way they can put like a paintbrush in behind it and it won't fall off.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. And the Newsy hat, why is the Newsy hat shaped like that?
So you can take it off and wave it when you're doing like high kicks.
Sure, that's right. And it's got like a good like wave to it, right? Like right. Flap in the breeze. So you did Newsy cap. I'm gonna go with is it tote or toque, the tall chef hat?
Oh, I believe you. Yes. Yeah.
I think toque. I think it's called toque.
Okay. Is like straw hat announcer, or what am I thinking of? Like that kind of like Hello Dolly like boater hat? Is that what it is?
Yeah, like a big sun hat.
Yeah. No, but like for men,
We-
you know what I'm talking about, like put on your Sunday
sure,
clothes
like-
type, like
Yeah. Like this that a carnival barker would wear.
yes, yeah, Lyle Landley,
Okay.
what he wears.
Yeah. Yes. That's very good. That counts as naming the hat. Right? I will go with a simple knit cap, like
How about
like a skull cap.
how about a like bucket hat or like a fisher hat type thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna go with now. Hold on, you're gonna have to check me on this one. I don't know if this is insensitive. A yarmulke, is that a hat?
A head covering. Bonnet opened it up to all head coverings.
Sure. Okay, then I will stick with yarmulke.
So the hat, I think we all wish we could wear, but only Indiana Jones can pull it off. A fedora.
Yes, but Indiana Jones isn't really wearing a fedora, right? He's wearing a Pendleton. I have one of these hats, and it looks good on me. But the fedora is a real problem. Where are we now? Back to me.
I think it's on you.
Okay. Then I will go with motorcycle helmet. Is that
fair? Yes. How about a fez?
Fez is a good one. A good weird hat. Okay. I already said top hat. In fact, it was the first one I said.
We're running out of hats. I'm not gonna lie. I'm impressed we got as far as we did. Let's say, our mind needs a break. Patrick, I feel like you are a hat person. You can wear hats well. Like your head is shaped for hats.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I have a big head. So that
that's of course what I was getting at. Like a nice
Thank you.
a nice head for hats is just a euphemism for well, I guess we'll never know.
Okay, I guess we'll never know what that's a euphemism for. Again, I closed the window before I checked to see who accompanied us, but we were accompanied today by someone. All right, Mark, let's get into the news.
So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the Lego Super Mario set that is coming out soon, sometime. It's coming out sometime. Oh, in August. It's coming out in August. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you and I both were a little bit confounded by it, but the Lego group this past week revealed a few more details, so we have a little bit better understanding of what this thing is. So
yeah.
Oh no, go ahead. Or was that
just so they released like a little video sort of like demoing the product, and like it was very Nintendo-esque, right? That they have like a dude addressing the camera, addressing the audience directly. It's neat to see. I don't know if like the companies working with Nintendo are like, we want to do it the way we want to roll out products the way you roll out products, or if Nintendo's like, here's what you got to do.
I'm always a little bit surprised how expensive Legos are.
Yeah, and I think this should be like the thrust of the conversation that we have about this right now, because the starter course for this set, which is not a ton of pieces, and it doesn't really look like offers any amount of freedom really to build like whatever you want, is $60, $59.99. And then there are expansion sets that are coming out. They weren't clear on whether they were launching right away with the starter set or if it was going to be a little bit. But the first two expansion sets are the Piranha Plant Power Slide for $29.99 and the Bowser's Castle Boss Battle expansion for $99.99.
Which is pretty impressive, like especially because I guess it's like, I don't know, like a game essentially where you're throwing down $60 for like the base part of it. It's just a little bit weird to me with like this Lego set where it's like $60 for this thing that you have to have in order to unlock the other, like to have any utility out of that $100 Bowser set. You have to pay the $60, so you're already in for almost like $200 all in.
It's especially because and I don't want to be like too whoa, this thing shouldn't cost what it does, especially when I know that there are certainly expensive Lego sets, right? Like they sell like a Lego Death Star, which is like a giant, it costs $200, or I made that number up. It could cost anything. That could be on the dot right, and it could be way off. Or like the Millennium Falcon or Hogwarts, right? Like I've had friends who have purchased like those big Lego sets, and it's a multiple day project to assemble them, and then at the end you have this like cool big piece of like art that you put together. It's like buying a big puzzle. But like the actual construction of these things seems so like they're very small, right? Like when all is said and done, there are not that many pieces, and like there doesn't seem to be a ton of room for creativity within them.
It'll be really cool to see what like the hacking community does with it, because like the
Sure.
the Mario starter course comes with like the electronic Mario. It's $60, but even from like the little bit that we've seen, it has like a lot of electronics in it, like special abilities. And so, it's and far be it for me to criticize anybody for buying this stuff. When I was a kid and Disney's California Adventure opened across from Disneyland, they had these like kind of like toy sets that you could get were like replica of now it's Pixar Pier, but it used to be like Paradise Pier, and they had like the big roller coaster, and you could buy this like set, put it together. It was like made out of plastic. You like snapped it all together, and then there was like a car, like a coaster car that would go on it and climb up the hill. It would go down the course, go
Oh,
up
that's
through
cool.
the loop, like all that kind of stuff. So like when I was a kid, I 100% saved up money and like ordered this thing from their telephone number that you could call to have them ship you stuff. So far be it for me to like, tell people what to spend their money on. But so I think this could be really cool. Like they have, it says they're working on a free Lego Super Mario app, which will like you can use it to keep track of scores and quote encourage continuous building. So it sounds like the goal is for there to be like more there, which is
Mhm.
really interesting and again feels very Nintendo-ish. You called out specifically like very like Labo-ish this last part.
Yeah, well, and so part of what the app does is that it gives you like the building instructions. So I don't know if there will also be like a paper version of it too. Um, but it sounds like they are adapting the Lego instructions, so that you can like pinch and zoom and rotate the image and stuff like that, just like as you are building a Labo. One of the things that we've talked about on the show a couple times, our experiences with Labo, is that it is amazingly like interactive and intuitive to use those instructions. You're folding so many things and tucking so many things into little, whatever. It's incredibly complicated, but like you almost can't get lost with the Labo instructions. They're so helpful and so thorough. And so it'll be cool to see that kind of technology applied to Lego. I know that as we were building Labo, we were like, IKEA should use this, right? And I mean, if that's Nintendo's next partnership, I'm not saying that it is, but if that's Nintendo's next partnership, they wouldn't even have to put gaudy little Marios all over stuff. Like, just tell me how to build it in a nice interactive way.
You mentioned it at the beginning of this, and we might have talked about it when this was first announced. But what I like, and the more that we're learning about this, the more it appears to be true, is that Nintendo's talked a lot about how they want to expand the use of their characters and intellectual property with third party partnerships. And what it seems like is it's like uh not just Nintendo being like, here's you can license our characters, go build some like Mario Lego sets. It feels like, at least from the outside, like a true collaboration, from like the way it's presented to what it does to like the instructions, like all that kind of stuff. It feels very much like the two companies are collaborating and not just the Lego got like the Mushroom Kingdom characters, and so they're just like pumping out a bunch of sets.
Right. Well, and I agree with that, but I also fear that it's taking like the two least attractive parts of both companies. Like I won't actually know until like I have my hands on it, but it doesn't seem like having that little Mario interact with like different color tile is actually going to be fun in any way. And like maybe it will be, but like at this point I'm sort of seeing like the downs, like all of the downsides of Nintendo and all the downsides of Lego.
I feel like this is what let Ring Fit Adventure be a lesson to us all, because
No,
I
you're
feel
right.
because here I am coveting people's Ring Fit Adventures, breaking
Oh
one of the
God.
10 commandments, for people's Ring Fit Adventures. So shame on me.
That's only if they're your neighbors.
Cero, or I guess you'd say CERO, the Japanese Video Game Ratings Board, which is the equivalent of the ESRB in North America or PEGI in Europe, announced a temporary closure last week amid a declaration state of emergency in Japan.
Yeah, so not necessarily that we're expecting this to delay any like big releases or anything like that, but we may see that it has like some sort of effect on the timelines for games that are going to be released in Japan. And then like, what do you think that does for like simultaneous worldwide releases? You think? I don't know. I mean, like, will this do anything?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know. Like, Peggy and the ESRB. I guess I keep calling it Peggy, but I should probably just say PEGI. It's just so much to say.
Well, no, say Peggy though, because that's what they say when because you're familiar with that little voice clip, right? Going like Peggy 18
Uh-huh. Oh,
at the
yeah.
beginning of
Okay, that's true.
trailers.
Great,
Yeah.
great. So both Peggy and the ESRB have implemented work from home protocols already. So, they don't anticipate a slowdown in their work or delaying games or anything. I wonder if CERO, if like it'll be a temporary delay in some things potentially, but that eventually they will. I don't know what their process is, so maybe they're not able to do it from home, or maybe they're not equipped to. But it seems like if this went on for a while, that they would have to find some way to continue to function.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean I think that's just sort of the way of all of this is that like companies figure out how to work remotely and do like provide the service they provide even under like lockdown conditions. And if they can't, then they're gone. And I mean, like the Japanese video game industry could just develop a new ratings board. Like the only reason that these organizations, Sero, ESRB, PEGI, the only reason they're in place to begin with is because the video game industry like supports them and like has them there so that they're not being regulated by like government bodies. So either they will figure out a way to do it or they'll come up with a new solution.
Yeah, let us do it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, we got it. Look, you send us an 18-word description of your game and we'll put a rating on it.
Talking about like short-term ramifications of this, Hamster has indicated that some of their Arcade Archives releases may not be able to be classified in Japan, which would be a little bit heartbreaking because it threatens to break Hamster's streak of releasing a new game on Switch every week for the last 160 or so weeks.
It's crazy. Every week since the Switch launched, Hamster has put out an Arcade Archives game on the Switch. They are the only company to have put out games this regularly on the platform. In fact, they hold a Guinness World Record for most consecutive weeks putting out games on Switch.
Last week we talked about IGN Summer of Gaming, which is like a digital event they're planning to do in early June that, even though they didn't say it, seems like it's being positioned as kind of like a digital replacement for E3. It's going to include the stuff we would expect from IGN's E3 coverage, like announcements, publisher interviews, hands-on demos, like all that kind of stuff. So the ESA has since announced that they are not going to be providing an online experience to replace E3, like they had originally said they were exploring when E3 was canceled. So it feels very much like they are ceding this ground to IGN, at least for this year.
Do you think they were like, Aw, dang. Or do you think they were like, whoo?
I think they were like, whew, because it seems like the like E3 2020 was having trouble coming together anyways, or at least it seemed like there was a lot of turmoil behind the scenes. And so
Totally.
I think just being able to take a mulligan on this year and try to like regroup and do whatever they're going to do for 2021 is probably in their best interest.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I think if they had to do this, if for whatever reason they would have to do like a digital event next year, I think it would behoove the ESA to just partner with IGN, right? And just be like, hey, you guys have the reach, you have the resources, you have the hosts, you have the relationships to do these like digital events in a way that we don't really. Like
Yeah.
it just makes sense that IGN would be in that position.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ESA, if they were going to do it, would have had to partner with somebody to do it because, you know, they're not a production company. They don't have a place to host. You know, like they don't have any of those resources. They sometimes hire people to be consultants and do it during the show. But that's it. So, yeah.
Well, and this year too, they had partnered with I Am 8-Bit, which is the the company that does a lot of like vinyl releases of video game soundtracks and just like a lot of really designy stuff to like help develop their like user experience. And I Am 8-Bit dropped out of it maybe like a month or two ago. It's got to at least be a month ago because that's when everyone dropped out of everything. But yeah, so that like they've been without their sort of like design creative partner for a while already, and then just to see something a replacement pop up there, we're just like, all right, peace out, we'll see you next year.
Yeah, absolutely. You know how everybody's like using alcohol to clean everything right now?
Yes.
So
Yes,
maybe
I do.
yes. So maybe you should think twice before using it to clean your Switch or the Joy-Cons. The Japanese Nintendo customer support Twitter account recently tweeted, and then it was translated by Kotaku. Quote, recently customers have been asking whether they can disinfect their Nintendo Switch consoles and Joy-Cons with alcohol. We're very sorry to say, avoid using alcohol as it may cause the plastic parts to fade in color or deform. We also cannot recommend using non-alcoholic disinfecting sheets as depending on the ingredients, they may damage the plastic parts.
Okay though, because like I get the like it may discolor the plastic parts, but like if you, I mean, maybe just best practice, don't take your Switch out into the world at this point, right?
Yeah, or I mean, I don't know. They, like they recommend just wiping it down with a cloth. I wonder if you could like put soap and water on a cloth and like wring it out and then use that to wipe down your Joy-Cons.
I'd rather use alcohol, frankly.
Yeah. I think you're just gonna have a dirty Switch, or you're gonna like let the color fade or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean at this point, letting the color fade would probably be preferable. Don't get coronavirus, guys.
Or just keep buying new sets of Joy-Con once a week.
There we go. Yes, at the end of every week, throw your old Joy-Con into the fire, the cleansing fire, and buy a new pair.
Don't worry about that battery burning in the fire.
No.
It's fine. Least of your worries at this point.
Keep your windows closed.
Here's a weird rumor about Pokemon Yellow that came to light this week. Resetera user Camo Z shared some tweets and posts from other forums with the leaked source code for Pokemon Yellow, which illuminated apparently two things about the game. One, there's a second version. Okay, because like Pokemon Yellow is kind of like a like the second version of Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue, but there's only one of them. It's just Pokemon Yellow. But apparently in the source code, there's a second version that's like mentioned in there, Pokemon Pink, which leads some people to speculate, including Camo Z, that maybe Clefairy or Jigglypuff would have been in this like fourth version, would have been playing the Pikachu part as of the starter.
Which I gotta say, that's a pretty compelling rumor and something that is so consistent with what we've seen from Pokemon like in general, right? That like every time they put out a game, they put out two versions of it. Um, with like some rare exceptions that, like you say, like these sort of like special edition sequels, they kind of combine into one. But we see them breaking away from that in recent years, right? Like Ultra Moon and Ultra Sun were both like a pair of sequels, and like Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, those would be like the remakes of Yellow and Pink, I guess, but with the Eevee instead of either the Clefairy or the Jigglypuff. It's a cool rumor and something that like just lights up my imagination. Like
Yeah, because I wonder if like the trajectory of Clefairy as a Pokemon would have been altered forever had it
yeah,
been like part of this.
because 100% Let's Go, it would have been Let's Go Jigglypuff, right?
Right.
I wonder if like pinning it to the color pink was like marketing suicide in the States. If they hadn't really cracked the market on girls playing games yet at that point. And so they were like, oh, we can't sell a pink version of it. No one will buy it.
Yeah,
I wonder if that was part of it.
Yeah, like whether it was true or not, they were at least, I'm sure, like super worried about it in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, there were some audio samples of the creatures speaking like they do in the anime instead of like the digital, really digitized grumbles that appear in red and blue. But the quality of the samples is awful. So I'm guessing they tried it and were like, no, thank you.
It's hilariously bad. If you get the opportunity, go and search out this Reset Era post. There's a link to it's like a Diglett, and it just like it sounds real bad.
And finally, this week Hallmark revealed a series of video game Christmas ornaments for 2020, which is just like Kismet, because last week we used Hallmark.com for our list of anniversary gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, of course, you can't have video game ornaments without Nintendo ornaments. So there is a Pokeball, a Pikachu, an NES console, a gold Zelda game cartridge, an 8-bit Donkey
great,
Kong,
by the way.
Yoshi and Mario Kart, and then an 8-bit character set of Mario, Luigi, Toad, Donkey Kong, and Link.
Mark, do you have any Christmas ornaments at present? Do you guys don't do you oh my gosh, do you do a Christmas tree?
So we have not we haven't since we've been married. I do have a couple of Christmas tree ornaments, because like my parents give me one every year, so I have some.
Oh, okay.
But I have not had a tree recently to put it up on. But some of these are super fun.
Which are your favorites? What do you like in here?
I'm just a sucker for tiny NES consoles, so I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
I like the gold Zelda cartridge, and then I like Yoshi in Mario Kart because like it's not how I think of Yoshi. So I love that they were like, put Yoshi in a Mario Kart. That is the character.
I gotta echo all of those picks. Those are all really good, especially that gold Zelda cart. Like, there's just something so like cool and iconic about it, and it's one of those things that'll like kind of trick people into. At first glance, it'll just look like a Christmas ornament, like just a gold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people are gonna have to go like, "Hey, wait a minute."
And
then of course Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I would love to put out into the universe the idea of for 2021 a Wario and Waluigi pair where they have tennis rackets.
Oh, that's great. And then a Daisy in her like tennis getup.
Yeah. Wait, where is Princess Peach or Daisy?
That is a great question. Not well represented on here, I guess.
They're like Mario, Luigi, Toad. Oh man, I guess we'll just do Donkey Kong and Link.
I guess we'll just do Donkey Kong twice. Once as his own piece, and again as part of the 8-bit set.
Bowser got robbed.
Look, we're turning on Hallmark pretty bad here, so I think it's time we get out of the news. Okay, that's going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Thank you so much for joining us week after week, twice a week after twice a week. It's been fun and good to do these shows, Mark, with you and to send them out into the world and have you listen to them. I hope you guys are finding them enjoyable and a fun little distraction for a little while. Anyway, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. If you like the episode, you could share it on Facebook or Twitter. We love when you do that. On Twitter, I am at Patrick_Ellers. Mark is at MKE Mitchell, and the show is at Nin Cart Society. Don't forget to friend us on Switch. Our friend codes are in the description of this episode and every episode. Olivia Duncan made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers saying, burn in hell, Hallmark, and thanks for listening.
Have you ever encountered an unexplained hairy bipedal hominid in the woods?
Have you received telepathic messages from an unidentified aerial phenomenon?
If so, then you need to listen to Bigfoot Collectors Club. I'm Michael McMillan.
And I'm Bryce Johnson.
And together with super producer
Riley Bray,
we make up the Bigfoot Collectors Club.
That's right. Every week we talk to actors, comedians, writers, and paranormal experts about their personal paranormal histories and share stories of high strangeness.
Like the time when we talked to Craig Ferguson about the Loch Ness Monster and when a sea witch told him he had raven magic.
Or the time I asked Pitch Perfect's Anna Camp her opinion on cattle mutilations. Past guests have included Rachel Bloom, Jen Kirkman, Paul F. Tompkins, Bobcat Goldthwait, and more.
So if you've ever been abducted alongside 5 reindeer by an alien with drills for hands or witnessed Bigfoot crawl out of an interdimensional portal,
Don't laugh, happens all the time.
then check out Bigfoot Collectors Club on Campfire Media or wherever you get your podcasts.
Bigfoot Collectors Club. You're here to believe us.
wait, is that how it goes?
Campfire.